Hey everybody, it's Cindy here, and I want to talk to you about boundaries in the context of loving yourself in the event that you are getting divorced or are divorced. Okay, so many of you are going through this or have gone through this in your lives at this point. Me too. And so let's talk about boundaries and divorce, okay? So there's three areas I'm going to touch on for now, just for your own thinking and to give you some inspiration to look at this closer in your own life if you happen to be struggling with any of these areas or not sure what to do. So first of all, if you are legally divorced, okay, your relationship, your marriage is over. And you've gone through the legal process, and all the legal decisions are in place about property and money and kids and the whole shebang booty. And that's all over with. If that's where you're at and you're done, then your communication with your ex-spouse does not need to include anything at all. Nothing, if you don't want it to, except if you have minor children you are continuing to raise together. If you're still co-parenting minor children, then yes, you need to communicate, and you need to communicate as effectively as you possibly can regarding the health and well-being of those children. But anything else, you don't have to talk to your ex-spouse about. You don't. You have to work out logistics with schedules, with co-parenting. You got to make decisions about your children's health together and education and things like that. But other than that, you do not need to have conversations with your ex-spouse. I mean, if you guys are buddy-buddy and you can, just to keep on a nice acquaintance. I mean, it's hard to feel like an acquaintance with somebody you've had a marriage with, but you know what I'm saying. If you have a nice, friendly kind of rapport with each other, fine. But deep down, you don't need to discuss your life with the ex-spouse. Even if the ex-spouse is really curious about your life and wants to know what you're up to, where you've been, what you're doing, and maybe you're feeling that about him or her, and you're going, yeah, I'd like to know what my ex-wife is up to right now, or my ex-husband, whatever situation is yours. I understand that. It's hard to let go sometimes, but that is not necessary. That's not necessary. That's a boundary. You can have your privacy now. They don't need to know what you're doing on a Saturday night. That's none of their business. As long as the children are taken care of and the children's issues are taken care of. That is there. If your kids are grown and gone, or you didn't have children together, you have nothing left to discuss. Nothing that you must discuss with your ex-spouse. If you choose to, that's your business, and that's okay. But you don't have to feel obligated to tell him or her what's going on in your life. Okay? All right. Number 2, personal space, your home. Most people, although I understand some people are divorcing and staying in the same household, that's a different, you got to have boundaries in that situation too. Let's face it, and you know what you need those to be. But most of you, I hope, are divorcing and getting your own homes separate from each other. And that is okay. That is good. And you do not have to invite your ex-spouse in to see your new home that you are now living in away from them. Where you live, how you live is no longer their business, except if you have minor children, of course, living with you, that you still co-parent together. That's a little different, but you do not need to invite them over. You don't. Now, I know when I got divorced in the state of Kansas, my ex-spouse needed to see the bedrooms of the children. He needed to see, but that didn't mean he needed to come and hang out. He didn't come and hang out at the house, but he needed to be aware of their surroundings and their environment and know where they were and that kind of thing. Of course, we had minor children at the time. They were teenagers. But I live elsewhere now. And our kids are grown, and he doesn't even need to know where I live, technically. He doesn't even need to know where I live or what I'm doing with my time. That's my business, and his business is his business. It's none of my business. And that's how it is. And those are boundaries, and they're healthy. It's okay. The marriage is over. It's a different season in your lives together, and that shifts the relationship to take a different form. Okay, social media. Number 3, social media. Maybe you were Facebook friends when you were married or on other forms of social media. Maybe you weren't. or maybe you think it's some healthy way to stay in contact. I mean, of course, everybody has their own unique feelings about this, but deep down, what I want you to hear me say is that if you want to cut social media communication off from your spouse, you don't have, or ex-spouse, excuse me, you have absolutely no obligation to keep that up. None at all. That is, you want to feel, emotional safety in your life post-divorce. And if having your own account on social media in which you do not allow them to be a part of is part of your emotional safety, and that's a healthy boundary for you, then I encourage you to create that boundary. So those are the 3 things that come to mind right now. For those of you that are going through a divorce or are divorced, ways that you can establish strong, healthy boundaries for yourself, and that's really, really loving towards yourself to move you through the transition. If you'd like to talk to me more about this, you are welcome to let me know, and we'll schedule a breakthrough coaching call and dig deeper into these things. And I hope this was helpful, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.